All right, let's get to our typical Friday feedback 1 day early. This whole week's a little bit upside down. You can email info@davidpakman.com. You can leave a TikTok reply, a YouTube comment, Twitter. We're not really spending too much time on Twitter, but occasionally something will make it in. Facebook comments, etc. All topics welcome. Criticism, praise, trolling, suggestions. Ideally, not so much hate. Vile anti-Semitic hate we try to not have on the show, but sometimes it unfortunately does make it on. Der Taran says, if Kamala can bait him so easily, can you imagine what Putin would do? Yeah, this comment really gets to the heart of something we saw and noticed during the debate against Kamala Harris for Donald Trump. He cannot really control himself. Now, we've had a psychiatrist on who said that Trump may have impulsivity issues because of ADHD. And some people took offense, but it's just an analysis. He may have impulsivity issues because of ADHD. Okay, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. It's not a value judgment. The point is, if it's not dealt with either through whatever, right? I mean, working with advisors to better understand how to be in public or medication or whatever. The point is, he can't control himself. Every bit of bait that Kamala Harris dropped, Trump took in the worst and most extreme way possible. Oh, you should go to one of his rallies. They're boring and people leave early. He flips out and starts calling her this, that, and the other thing and screamed through the rest of the debate. She brings up his felonies and his convictions, and he was not really the guy of law and order. Flips out again and he cannot control himself even on the debate stage, knowing 70 million people are watching. Obviously, he's not up to the task of serious negotiations, particularly with, listen, Trump's not wrong when he says Putin is smart. He's right. Putin is smart. He's smarter than Trump. But his intentions are absolutely horrible in terms of what they mean for the United States. So it's right to be terrified of what it would be like to have Trump in those situations again, particularly another 5 years older and more deranged and dilapidated. I'm as scared as you are. Natasha Tomlinson wrote in and said, Green Party member here who left the Democrats years ago because of their ineptitude. You better believe I'm still voting for Harris Walls because Trump will absolutely ruin this country forever. Yeah, this is a reaction to the clips we played of Jill Stein just really saying very dumb things. I don't know how else to say it. I wish I could sugarcoat it. I'm glad to see that Natasha, although she identifies more with the Green Party, decided the Democratic Party is no longer for her, understands that now, 5.5 weeks from this election, it's a pretty binary choice. Jill Stein's not going to be president. I'm so sorry if I'm the one breaking that to you. She's not going to be president, nor is she qualified to be, I should mention. But Trump might be, or it'll be Kamala Harris. That's the choice. Act in accordance to who you believe is the better choice. That's what I'm doing in November. Bart CMH says about the Trump rally goers who leave early, which they do. I can understand why they leave early. What I don't get is why they go in the first place. You know, I asked this question on the Monday show after we looked at clips from Trump's rally in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I got a couple of different responses from people. Some wrote in and said the people go because they never actually watch Trump rallies on TV, so they assume it's going to be fun and interesting. Then they get there and it's not. Number two, some people leave early because they spend all day there. Trump's always an hour or two late. They're in direct sun, no sunscreen. They're burning. They're exhausted. They want to get away from the porta potties. So it's just like all they can take because they've been there all day and Trump doesn't even respect them enough to get there on time. That's number two. And number three is a lot of them are just there for the experience. They know the actual speech is not the most interesting thing to them. They want to go. They want to see the other Magapatamians and Magadonians that are there and meet Trumpists and buy the fried dough and the sausages or whatever they offer. And then, okay, the speech started. It's like, I'm kind of done. I'm going to leave now. I'm there for the tailgating, less than I am for the game. 3 reasonable suggestions as to why the people who leave early from the Trump rallies go there at all. Let me know if any of those make sense to you. The Kingmaker wrote in and says, if it's the Jews' fault that Trump loses, let me be the first to say thank you to the Jews. This is clever. This is all related to, it's almost beyond belief, but last week, Donald Trump was invited to speak before a Jewish group, about anti-Semitism. And Trump said anti-Semitic things during the speech. And anyway, one of the things that came up was Trump saying, the Jews should be supporting me. If I lose, I'm going to blame the Jews. How could this be? None of it makes sense, etc. And the Kingmaker says, I hope, I will praise the Jews if the Jews are what ultimately defeats Donald Trump. Okay, here's one that's a little bit whacked. This is, let me just read this one to you, and I'm going to try to do it. It's riddled with atrocious grammar and syntax, but I'll try. Okay, if little Johnny can identify as a girl and little Cindy can I identify as a man in the world must go with this, then I would like to identify as a multi-billionaire, even if I am somewhat poor. But the world must go with this, so I would like to go buy a new car and sign my name as Bill Gates, and they should allow it because I identify. Presented without comment, because I couldn't possibly add anything to that. But these people exist. They're allowed to vote. I plan to vote to cancel out one of their votes. Ms. Rotorwings wrote in and says Kamala's statements regarding crowd size and people being bored and leaving will stick with him every day for the rest of his life. Yeah, there was something that you could see really got under Trump's skin when Kamala Harris talked about the fact that people get bored at his rallies and they leave. And it has to do with the way Trump evaluates what's good. You know, it's ratings. The Apprentice was the #1 reality show. That sort of stuff. It's not about that I accomplished something good. It's did people like it? Did people recognize it? And we had that interesting clip this week of Trump saying, I think what I did on vaccines is great, but like I can't really brag about it. Essentially, these are my words, because his audience doesn't like the vaccines. And so for Trump, it's all about what do people cheer me on about? And Kamala Harris pointing out people leave his rallies really sent him for a loop. Richard weighed in on the debate and says it's just a debate, Pukeman. It means nothing. When your opponent has the media in their pocket, wrong there, it doesn't matter. Well, listen, it remains to be seen how much the debate means. Conventional wisdom among folks like Alan Lichtman, who we had on earlier this week, is the debate doesn't matter. That's why he was ready to issue his prediction about Kamala Harris defeating Trump before the debate. He doesn't think the debate really changes the structure and the fundamentals of the election. On the other hand, conventional wisdom can be wise or it cannot be wise. And what we see in the polling is that Kamala Harris's national lead has doubled since the debate. Doubled. Now, you can still win the popular vote and lose the election electorally, but doubling your lead after the debate really isn't bad. Here is Jorge, who is upset with me. Jorge says, you need to see the doctor. Check your mental condition, comma. You judging person, their physical condition is not right. Don't judge, won't be judged. See a doctor, please. I don't really know what this is about. But I've made pretty uncontroversial observations like Donald Trump is the oldest major party nominee for president ever. That's a fact. That's not a medical assessment. I've also said 78-year-olds are statistically closer to the end of their lives than 59-year-olds. Kamala Harris being 59. Did she turn 60 recently? Maybe she did. I also pointed out Trump's obese. This is just a reality. Trump claims to weigh only 239 and be 6'3". That's the edge of obesity, if you believe it. Trump's obviously not 6'3". He obviously weighs more than 239. Trump's obese. So obesity isn't healthy. I'm not suggesting any kind of treatment, or I'm just observing what we know. Trump's obese and obesity isn't healthy. So I don't think I'm saying anything that would only be the purview of doctors. Like, you don't need a doctor to say 80-year-olds are closer to death on average than 60-year-olds. It's just what it is. I don't need a doctor to look in the history books and confirm, yes, Trump's the oldest major party nominee ever. These are just facts. And so you can say, I don't care about that. I would rather vote for the obese 80-year-old than the trim 60-year-old because I like his policy better on deporting immigrants. All right, go ahead and do it. But let's not pretend that reality isn't reality. That's my request. Folks, we are about to officially launch the pre-order campaign for my nonfiction book, The Echo Machine, which is forthcoming. I would be honored and humbled. I worked very hard on this thing. I would be honored and humbled if you pre-ordered the book. If you like reading physical books, we've got it. If you prefer a Kindle or ebook version, we've got it. If you want to listen to an audiobook, we've got it. I am the narrator of the book. All of these versions are available on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, Audible, Apple audiobooks. You can go to davidpakman.com/echo, and every pre-order will qualify for a signed book plate. Just hold on to your receipt. I'll tell you when it's time to request the book plate. And on Monday, I'll update you in terms of where we are on pre-orders.